Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Compa Coffee Roasters podcast. My name is Jay. I'm the coffee director for Compa Coffee Roasters. Today, I'm joined by Manny Pangan, the owner of Spro and Dough, a local donut baker for specialty coffee shops.
Yes.
Anywhere else right now?
Anywhere that's willing to have you. You know what I mean?
A good market.
Yeah.
We met because we supply your donuts at our shop, and we fucking love them, and they're delicious.
Thank you. Thank you.
Would you consider yourself a craft baker?
Honestly, I feel like, yes, I do. I like to specialize in that sort of donut hole experience. So what we basically do is we take your typical donut and we just make it into a hole. And it's a bit larger than your normal donut hole. So that way we can go ahead and glaze it up. You mean like our best seller right now is like the chocolate horchata.
Right.
And with that one, like it's your good sized donut hole topped with the horchata glaze and drizzled with chocolate. And I feel like with that you get like at least 3 or 4 bites.
Solid bites.
Yeah, definitely.
And they really worked for us. How long have you been doing that for?
Jeez. I think I came up with a concept like back in 2017. So from 2017 till now, it pretty much, I don't know, dude, like we branched out. 2019 was when we were actually getting into coffee shops, and Seven Seas, shout out to Seven Seas, Eric, I see you. They were the first ones to pick us up. So I want to say 2019 all the way up to now is when we just started hitting the floor.
Nice. How many shops did you get in on once? Like, would you say? You had like 3 or 4 shops at one time? That's pretty good.
Yeah, like when we first started, Seven Seas was the first shop that actually picked us up. And from then, it was kind of like boom, boom, boom. So I think within our first 3 months after Seven Seas, it was like, I don't know, it was like Altrea in there. Tyler picked us up. And then we were doing this one thing with Dojo. Have you heard of Dojo?
I have.
Yeah, they're the guys on University towards East Dago. So East Dago is like one of those spots that, you know, you hold close to your heart. It's like, so we're like, as soon as Dojo was like, hey, we want your donuts, I was like, yo, East Dago? All right, let's go. Sure. Yeah.
Sure. What made you want to do donuts in the first place? Like, out of all the pastries you could choose.
This is so good.
Hey, shouts out our Yerba Fizz real quick.
Yes.
Shouts out our GM Trevor and everybody involved in making the recipe of our ginger lemon honey yerba mate fizz, because that shit is banging right now.
I can't stop drinking it.
Yo, for shits and giggles,
So
I can
good.
just come over here and just give our man a can real quick out the fridge, if I could reach it.
It's so refreshing. I don't.
Which I will
Dang.
instantly. If you all ever need the bus down,
Right
there she
here.
is.
Right here.
There she is.
Dang.
Dang. Okay. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. What made you choose donuts? Or donut holes, I guess specifically.
You know what? It just kind of happened. I don't. To be honest with you, it happened on National Donut Day. Whatever day that was, I can't remember. I had time in the day, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and grab myself a donut. And I think I had like the most simple donut ever. It was still good. It was actually from the donut shop here on 30th, right by the auto shop, right next to, right by I don't know, Calabria.
Oh.
It's right in the corner.
Yeah. It's like a donut star or a donut factory or one of those.
Donut Factory. That's that one.
I love
So
that
had-
donut. That is such an
It's
underrated
good. It's
donut
good.
shop.
And I think I must have been like the last dude there to get like one of those free donuts. And I was just kind of looking at it, and I thought, man, it would be sick if I can spruce this up a little bit, kind of make it something. And so I thought of it as like a canvas. So what I did was I took that donut and I started to like, I guess you would say paint. So I took coffee grinds and I added some water to it, and I took a paintbrush and I started drawing on it. and I like showed it to my homies, and they're like, "Yo, like you should make this into something."
Right.
And so I did. So here we are. So
Nice. I love it. Easel and paint. That's so tight.
yeah.
Every donut that you brought us so far, we'll get 4 or 5 flavors at a time, and they're pretty like donuts can be simple, as we know. You can have like chocolate or vanilla, but the flavors you bring us are horchata chocolate. We've had eggnog. We've had, this last week we have berry malasadas. We have fucking all these different flavors. The lemon poppy seed is easily probably my favorite so far.
Same.
Espresso filled, chocolate covered, gold dust.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all these different flavors. All of them are vegan.
Yes.
What inspired that move?
Really, the vegan community was the one that inspired us. To be honest with you, when we first started, we didn't start off as a vegan company. We started off as your regular donut shop. And we were out doing a market one day, and someone had came up to us, and she was like, "Hey, are these all vegan?" I was like, unfortunately, they're not. And she was like, "I would buy all of them if they were all vegan." And I was like, talking to Lena, she's the other owner. She was like, "Well, why don't we just give it a shot?" And we did. And I was literally like contemplating, how do I tackle this? Because you go from, milk and eggs to literally just oat milk. And you go to like flax seeds, you know what I mean? And you kind of have to learn and adapt to that. And I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm down." It's like a challenge to me. And so I did it. And I don't know, something happened and it just clicked.
Fucking pays off for us. Shouts out to our mutual friend Tyler, who recently was posting about, shouts out Tired Eyes, for real. He was talking about these vegan brands and how if you're a brand and whether you promote your vegan authentic, whatever you promote it or not, you have a following simply because you're vegan. And that's really paid off for us. I know that our weekend crowd, we only get your donuts on the weekends, and it brings this influx of vegans and non-vegans that look for the donuts. Combining that idea with the fact that I was following Dark Horse a few years ago when they dropped their donut program. They had 3 shops. They were making their own donuts that were vegan. At one location, they put on the case handcrafted donuts. At the other location, they put handcrafted vegan donuts. What they noticed was that at one location, the one that didn't say vegan, the donuts sold better simply. Wow. The other one, they seemed to have a more vegan following, and I was just talking to a couple of baristas there, and this is just what they noticed. This isn't inflected on the owner's opinions on it or anything, but from what I could remember, the one that didn't say vegan sold more donuts because they were simply like, "These are donuts, indiscriminatory. Do you like them or not?" And if anybody asks, "Are they vegan?" they'd be like, "Yeah, they're vegan."
Right. Yeah.
Then the other one was like, "These are vegan. We make vegan donuts, vegan." And then all of a sudden, a bunch of vegan people started coming there because they felt attached to the brand, to the donut, to all these things. I think making the menu more accessible just makes it, in my opinion, better. We have a menu that has gluten-free and vegan and grain-free, and we make almond ricottas, and we make all of our syrups are vegan. Like, obviously, it's easy to make a vegan syrup, but I think being that inclusive kind of helps bridge a lot of relationships, through food, especially.
Yeah, and I think it kind of like broadens it too, because like for us, we don't typically say that all the donuts are vegan, because we're kind of like, hey, if you're non-vegan, we still want you to enjoy the donuts. And my favorite part about, I low-key do this all the time, if we're like at a shop, or if I'm somewhere and I'm kind of chilling and some dude who's not vegan, or some female, or someone's vegan or they're non-vegan, they bite into it, and you can see on their face, like I low-key, I'll watch them. I'm that guy who's like, okay, I want to see how they react to the donuts, especially if they're non-vegan. And then they take a bite, and if they like it, I'm kind of like, there you go. Like, I want to go ahead and show people that vegan food is good food. It doesn't have to be. I feel like there's this kind of whole like misconception about vegan food that, oh, since it's not using this type of like, I don't know, milk product or whatever, it's not going to be as good, not going to be as soft or creamy. No, you can definitely get that with vegan products.
Right.
So my favorite part about getting people to try our products is like, hey, it's vegan, but it's damn good vegan food.
Right.
Like you can definitely mess with it.
I think we've definitely passed that point in technology and in I mean, I want to put it on like culinary effort, where it just chefs and bakers and bartenders and the industry put it on their back to say, how do we fix this issue that we're having? People want to go vegan, and we want to serve the vegan crowd because we want to be non-discriminatory. And I think it also takes the consumer to be non-discriminatory. I think it's almost so weird to have a motherfucker come in here and be like, this donut's delicious, it's vegan. Like that like reaction, I'm like, bro, do you hate apples? Like what the fuck? Like, do you just not like bananas? Like, so that idea is so weird to me. I think that like for people to drop that misconception from their heads and just be like, hey, obviously it's going to be okay. I think one of the gaps maybe we haven't bridged yet in technology, and I could be wrong, and I would love for somebody to correct me, sugar-free. I haven't had a substitute for fucking cane sugar that it tastes like cane sugar, feels like cane sugar. I mean, you give me stevia, Splenda, Sweet and Low, all the other ones, they all taste like whatever it is. Diet Coke tastes like aspartame to me, you know?
Have you looked into monk fruit?
I have heard about monk fruit.
Yeah. And now I was actually, we were going to use that monk fruit, and I tried it out, and I'm still testing out the measurements, but so far, monk fruit. Monk fruit, if you get a chance, try monk fruit.
Because I've heard about like dates has like a natural sugar, and you can use that to sweeten certain things, and obviously you can melt down whatever fruits and make certain syrups out of that. But maybe it's American in me, maybe it's just something that I just fucking love.
It's what we've been fed since we were
forever.
kids, man.
There's sugar in everything, from our bread to our milk to our everything. Even our fucking almond milks and oat milks now have sugar in them because they understand as an American we're going to suck onto it.
Yeah. And like the thing is, it's like people often look over that, oh, there's sugar in this? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? There's sugar in everything.
One of the funniest analogies I have for this is that a lot of people don't know that hummingbirds are only native to the Americas. You can only find hummingbirds in North or South America. You cannot find them in Europe or Asia or Africa.
I did not know that.
Hummingbirds also live off sugar. But like obviously natural sugars and all those things, but like how interesting is that like we also are so like as almost like a child to a teat, like us to sugar is like fucking latched on there.
It's like easy as breathing, dude.
I'm the most guilty. Like I've like obsessed over nutrition and diets and like, oh, let's try vegan, let's try low carb, let's try high protein, blah, but like sugar is not even on the table for me. I'm like, it's not up for discussion anyways. It's on my table.
It's just, I feel like it's just so easy to eat something that has sugar in it that you're kind of like, oh, this has this in it, this has that in it, but then you're just like, oh, but it has sugar. It's just like, you don't even think about it.
It's got some sugar.
It's got some sugar. If it tastes good, it's got some sugar.
Yeah, it's probably got some sugar. And I'm trying to think of things that have no sugar at all that taste good. Coffee.
True.
Boom. Man.
True.
Hey, and if you need any, man, at Compa Coffee Roaster. No, I'm just kidding. Just plug myself real quick. Might as well.
Sprondo, we use sugar. But vegan sugar. I mean, we don't, we're smart about that.
Isn't it? Cane sugar.
It depends what has been processed through.
Okay.
So, you have like the bone char. And then if you use the sugar that goes in there, you're obviously using bone char in your sugar. So that becomes non-vegan.
Bone chard?
Bone char.
What is that?
Dude, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, I mean, are they like?
Because I've looked it up plenty of times, and I've. It's just the obviously the bones that comes from an animal, and it's being used to process other things. I could be wrong, you know what I mean? But all I know is that it uses bone char in these like specific brands, and I don't want to use it.
Damn, gnarly. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good
So
thing
we stay away
to
from
read
that.
into. Okay. Just make
Yeah,
sure
that's right.
before you use your sugars to read about your sugars.
Yeah, so bone char is Paris black granular material produced by charring animal bones.
Gnarly. And it's like they put it in sugar to like make it taste better.
I have no idea.
Gnarly. I mean,
But look at this though, like that's what it looks like. It's like black pellets.
it looks like charcoal. Looks like bone charcoal.
Charcoal.
Bone charcoal.
Yeah.
Bone char sugar. Okay, well,
All I know is that
gnarly.
we are definitely not going to use that.
Okay, we're yeah, vegan sugar, please. That's good.
Right? Like I remember researching this and I was like sitting there with Lena and we're just like looking at sugars and everything. This is when we first started, and then things to watch out for. And then it wasn't only that, but also the vegan community was so open, like to talk to us about products, about what to use and not use, like honey. You know, vegans don't use honey, and then also obviously milk. But there's certain things that we follow, and yeah, bone char, sugar, like a lot of the sugar brands that are like sold in like grocery shops, sugar is bone char.
I'm gonna have to look. I'm literally gonna look into our sugar after this. So to move on, for now, you're just wholesaling to coffee shops. Do you have any aspirations for your own brick and mortar or for your own shop?
Absolutely. When we first started, that was kind of the thing that we wanted, is to own our own brick and mortar. And when we first started, I was actually thinking of just opening up a coffee shop and then having the donuts as, coffee, like we were talking about, coffee and donuts, coffee and. But no, we just made it. We just want to go ahead and open up a donut shop. And as far as what to open, man, this happened like pre-COVID. We were like on board of getting a food truck. Okay. And we had talked to multiple locations, and we had plans to go fly over there, get quotes and everything. And then, yeah, 2020 happened, 2021 happened.
It's hard to sit here and like say like everything happens for a reason or like some fucking cliche like that, but I guess it does. Right. We had lease talks, letters of intent signed in 2020, and then it was like in late 2019 into early 2020, then COVID started happening, and we had to address that as an issue going on. Like, hey, I think this might slow our business down a little bit, and to have to back out of things is so tough, and to like have to keep the faith and keep like.
That was so hard to keep. Like real talk. Like I was like looking into it, and I was like, how are we going to fucking do this? Yeah. Like, how are we gonna last? Yeah. But fortunately, what really saved us was delivery. Nice. We switched to like delivering and outsourcing us to our customers individually. Nice. So we had it so that our customers would just hit us up, order their donuts, and we offered free delivery. And but we were driving from like San Isidro to like Mira Mesa in like one after another. Right. But I mean, granted, it was what we did, and we felt like, hey, if our demographics was that far, like, hey, we're willing to do it. Right. Like, you guys want the donuts? Hey, here you go.
I mean, keeps it alive, right?
Right.
That was such a crazy time. I think everybody was. I remember that as the time of like mid 2020, as anybody that was doing food pop-ups. Mm-hmm. I knew like 4 or 5 chefs that were like, I will deliver food. I'm cooking food out of my house because I don't know what else to do with my hands. Like, this is what I do. And now I can't. This whole have faith thing doesn't really make sense because none of us knows what's going to happen. Yeah. And there's all these people dying, but like, let's just have food. Yeah. But we can't have it together, so I'll just bring it to you. It's like a really weird way that we all had to adapt.
Yeah, it was. I would like to think of as that period as like, like a foggy dream.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the whole entire time you're kind of stuck. Like, what do I do? Like, what can I do? And I think that as like a business owner is like having that mentality to push forward, even when you have like the dimmest light possible.
For real.
And I think like as long as you see that light, you're like, hey, like fuck it, I'm gonna just grab onto that, like almost blindly.
Yeah. 100%.
And that's kind of what pushed us through, was like, hey, we still see that light at the end of the tunnel. Like, it's not over. Like, we can adapt to the situation. And I feel like a lot of companies did do that. They offered curbside pickup. You guys were doing that too, no?
Almost definitely. We brought our bar to the window.
Right?
I call it naive optimism. Like, we know the facts, and we're addressing the facts. We're not ignoring them. We're
Yeah.
like, hey, shit's going down. And so our optimism is sort of based on this like naive thought where we're having to ignore a lot of reality and having to like put all of that on the back burner. And especially for us, bro, like that time was so taxing because every single person wasn't talking to anybody else and seeing anybody else but us. So
Yeah.
then they would come in here and it was these talks of like naive optimism and then like fucking dread. Where they're like, we're all gonna die and the world's burning. Thanks for my cappuccino. Have a good day. And it was like so. I thought that it was a great experience for me because I got to like stay in the community. I stayed off the news. I stayed off Facebook. I stayed away from all the shit, and I kept my like ear to the streets literally and got to hear how people felt every day in the community. Like fuck everybody on the news, fuck everybody on the Facebook, like saying what they're feeling and everything. Like to hear what your neighborhood is feeling and to hear the people that are like literally, bro, we have everybody that comes here from the fucking dishwashers, prep cooks, the whole hospitality industry. Everybody works in the hotels. We have all those people. Then we have all the marketing people that work for them. Then we have like city council members that come here. We have police officers that come here. We serve a full community. And I really got to acknowledge that in COVID, to hear all these struggles from all these people. And again, naive optimism, where people were just like, fuck it, man. I guess we'll get through because what else are we going to do? And I'm like,
I guess we'll get through.
I guess.
Somehow,
I don't know how. I thought I had a plan, and I thought, like, I had financials set up, and I had, like, a road trip set up. I had plans, but, like, fuck it all.
Isn't that kind of funny? I felt like that really tests your boundaries as far as, like, how far you'll go. For sure. You know what I mean? I felt like if we didn't have that, it's funny that we're still talking about this. And it had, like, right? In the news, media, were just like, we had an endemic. I really feel like this shit's gonna keep going.
I mean, inflation's here from all the money we gave, and fucking there's so much shit that's gonna snowball from this.
I just feel like how it happened really tested our like mentality on everything. You know what I mean? It was like this either made you or this fucking broke you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think I look at it as like, wow. I know it's, I don't mean to say, because a lot of deaths happen. That was the most unfortunate part. It was so devastating hearing the numbers. And even when I talk about it now, I'm just like, damn, it's so fucking heartbreaking. And also I'm thinking like, wow, it really pushed me to like, okay, have that hustler mentality. How can we just make another dollar? You know, and if this didn't happen, I probably wouldn't have thought the way I did. You know, it definitely hit a lot of people differently, but my mentality literally just fucking switched. It was like, oh, okay, how am I going to make this? How am I going to make this money? For sure. And this fucking pandemic was what pushed it. Yeah. It was insane.
I mean, I agree with, that's a good point you made, that like, it's almost disrespectful for us to sit here and be like, wow, this great awakening when somebody's grandmother like literally died. Like people's brothers and sisters and sons and daughters and aunts and uncles, grandparents, friends, family died. And in millions, if I'm not mistaken. Like literally worldwide, there were millions of deaths from one disease in the matter of 2 years. That, just acknowledging that fact is insane. what came from that, acknowledging that and being like, holy shit, not forgetting about that. Holy fuck, that's crazy. But from that, in America came, I think, a big awakening for the hospitality industry when we realized that none of us can fucking hire anybody anymore because everybody realized how hard this job might actually fucking be. Wow. As far like restaurants can't hire dishwashers right now because ain't nobody want to do that shit.
Yeah.
And before, I mean, I think that a lot of the hospitality industry was treated like shit because they were taken for granted because there were always people coming in and it was just kind of seen as a valueless job. And now we got to kind of flip that on its head and during COVID become like overtly protective of my staff and like be like, who the fuck are you in my cafe? Like, don't fucking cough, bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just fucking sneeze in here. Like, you know, and that germophobia awakening kind of helped us out. Kind of helped us out a little bit. If your kid is in here sneezing, coughing, give me this shit, boy, you better take that shit outside. And I can't tell you, bro. Like, we used to have kids in here that'd be like, achoo, wow, your merchandise? It was just so gross.
It's funny that you say that because then it was funny when before this, when someone sneezed, you're like, oh, bless you. And now when someone sneezes, you're like,
you're like flinching and shit. You're like, hey, whoa.
Side-eye, bro. Someone sneezes, you're just like, oh, she got COVID.
For sure.
I see that everywhere now. Yep. Even after this whole, like, oh, you can take your mask off. I was in Target the other day and someone sneezed in the next aisle and literally someone came around the corner and was like this. Like,
hell no.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like, wow.
Combine that with like personal space shit. Like before you used to be in Target, like looking at something and a motherfucker would come right here to grab something right here and you'd be like, excuse me, bitch. Like, you know? Yeah. But now, like, motherfucker, I will wait and you will grab something and you will leave and I will come up and grab my thing. So there's kind of manners checks to this and I think we kind of somewhat grew from all of it as well as got to value each other. And got to value just this, bro. Like just making a cup of coffee, sitting down, hanging out with somebody, having a conversation. Because we realize we can't take the shit for granted anymore.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So
we kind of like, we went on a whole...
Yeah, bro. That's a podcast.
Where was that? What was the question?
The question was, do you have any aspirations for your own brick and mortar?
Yes, absolutely, yes. We are definitely geared towards that. And want to say that we're in 2022 already, huh? True. Wow. End of year, we'll definitely be looking out for either a food truck or a brick and mortar.
Good shit.
Yeah.
All right, man. You have any other shouts out to anybody?
Damn. Shout out to Herbafizz. Man, I swear, I don't know, like it's just second nature all of a sudden. I just kept drinking it. Man. And this. Hawthorne, Compa, you guys have been great.
Appreciate it.
Guys, every time I come in here, I get the drip. I want to taste that coffee, and I always do. Yo, you guys came through.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, the letter J at Compa Coffee Roasters is always open. You can message us, comment on this, whatever you guys want. Stay tuned for more episodes. We're always going to have more stuff coming. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one.
Peace.
Easy, bro. Come on, man. Easy, dog.